Hello and welcome back to the second part of making of curry. Now, last time we did the tongue threads, which came out okay, they can do for now. And the next part, I'm gonna start from the feet. Now, I have here the shape that I had created previously, and let's say it's a good reference for what I'm expecting it to become. But we have some challenges here. One is we will need to fit a MicroMaster sitting here when it's in tank mode. And then we need to make sure that it looks like a robot when it transforms in robot mode. But then legs we need to fold in a way that become part of the head. So I think that to a certain degree the back of the head is not gonna matter as much. So we can kinda keep this, let's say, tank shape as a good reference for how the legs need to fold even for the head mode. Um, but something that it's obvious already looking at this shape is that they don't look like feet, or better, the top part maybe looks like a foot, but the bottom part doesn't. So what I'm thinking is that the foot is gonna rest on top of this tank thread, on top of the tank threads here as well. So we're gonna have this part of the foot of the tank become the foot, while everything else is gonna be the leg. And then the leg, the tie is gonna start somewhere here, but this part is gonna be part of the tie. So yeah, it's gonna have some long legs. So now that we have, let's say, a shape reference and um, the project can start, we can start trying to shape what the foot is gonna be like, and then work away at the joints and all the kind of stuff. So, I think that from a certain point of view, I'd want the legs to be excessively long, but we also need the foot to detach and be able to make our figure stand and maybe have a little bit of ankle tilt as well. So I'm gonna start working away from this um, rectangle cubed that we have and just create a simple shape for now, and then we can see how things fit together. And then later I can turn it into the actual thing. Um, but the way it's gonna work, I think we're gonna have the foot. We're gonna add the lower part of the leg somewhere along this shape, and then we have a smaller thigh. Probably there's gonna be like a 90 degrees knee here in between the two, so that when they straighten up, they're fine and it provides some movement. And then I think that we need something that is gonna serve as the upper thigh that will go, let's say, move on top here and then become, you know, part of the middle. So the middle is gonna be just something like that, and then can get rid of that. So this is not gonna be the final length of all of this, but this is just to show how many parts are gonna be. There's gonna be, let's call it crotch, upper thigh, something like that. Then we're gonna have the lower part of the leg, oops, somewhere there. Upper, let's say the shin, and then the foot. I think the foot is gonna sit in front of this, so we're gonna have to shift it maybe forward a bit. And this is not gonna be that big, but it's just for now. Um, the other thing that I notice is obviously this is empty space. So how do we create empty space? So obviously we have, let's say, this area. Now I'm gonna take one of these blocks that I created that indicates more or less uh, the space used by the figures. Or I could take, no, I think this one is gonna be a good representation of a sitting MicroMaster. I could take my MicroMaster and sit it, but it's not that big. It's a bit smaller compared to a normal MicroMaster. So I'm gonna move this forward. And as you can see, it kind of, this is actually, yeah, it kind of fits in there nicely. And it's a good representation of a shorter MicroMaster, but in this case, a sitting MicroMaster. So we can take this and say, if I bring it up and rotate 90 degrees, yes. So I think that this area of the legs will need to be able to open and create that uh, platform for the um, MicroMaster to sit on, let's say. So I think that we're gonna have some kind of panels. So I'm gonna copy this and make this thinner list. And then this is gonna be a bit thinner. And they're gonna sit there, and this is gonna sit here. So they're gonna flip open and connect with the other side. Again, actual sizes and everything, we can review that uh, in another moment, but I think that's how it's gonna work. Um, I think actually, because this bit here is gonna have, yeah, because there is the top of the tank here, obviously it's like the foot is gonna flip out 90 degrees, let's say, and quarter, but you will see in a moment that there's gonna be a need for some panel to come out and fill that gap. Um, maybe, we'll see, we'll see. It's just to highlight that we need to have some panels there. I don't think it's gonna be that way. So let's start creating the foot. I think that's a fair thing to say. So I'm gonna leave the left hand side as a reference. So let's copy again everything. This time I'm gonna object mirror X so that we keep that as a reference. But I want to start working at that foot and leg. Um, I think this is gonna be shorter. I think there's gonna be a part of the tank that is gonna stay behind that foot in that way. So this is gonna be the bottom of the tank where the foot rests. If you get what I'm trying to do here. And we're gonna have the cover for the tank treads on the outside of the leg. So this part is gonna go there. Maybe even on the tank. We'll see. We'll see. So start with the foot. We go in edit mode. I'm gonna. So we want the tank to, let's say, to bend down, but yeah, we want that slope. Okay. So I want that to be there, and then we'll see about these openings because again, reference, right? These openings were not there in the original one. If anything, oh god, if anything, yeah, this part above the tank treads looked a bit more interesting. But I can try and, just make that part a bit flat for now. And then instead, it's this part underneath that we need to keep with this part. So yeah, it's okay. So let's go ahead and make this lower down and this maybe lower down like that. So that's our foot. That's our foot for now. We'll make more details and more, you know, decorations once we get to the tank mode. And I think it's gonna I think it's gonna fit as wide as the entire leg. So I'm gonna resize, select X, so it's only going bigger in one direction. Is it this size or is it gonna be bigger? It's gonna need to cover. Let's make it bigger for now. I think it's gonna need to cover the other side as well. So I can, yeah. You see, there's still a gap, but we can resolve that later. Or we can see if the legs are gonna come closer together. So now that we got that part done, we can get this part where it starts becoming the tank in the leg side. So I'm not worried about that panel opening for now. That's gonna be fairly flat and connected. But the shape of the leg is gonna be more interesting, right? We will also have to revisit this because I cannot connect this here where the knee connects. That's not gonna work. Either need to go here or needs to go here, and that's I think too far back. So we might need to move it, but that's fine. We might need two. I think that's not gonna work either. So we'll see. Maybe we need to split it in two, and then they connect together when it's in tank mode. So here we have now this. So this needs to have the space for this to recede into it. So I'm gonna turn it minus 90 degrees so that it turns it this way. So this effectively needs to align like this, but all the way back here. Which is not the greatest. Maybe the foot can be sitting up a bit more. What do you think? Let's try it this way. Let's try it this way first. So this is obviously where it's gonna sit. So we can make it a bit bigger. Then I'm gonna change this again so that I can create this shape now. And then I'm gonna select this to. So I'm gonna select first the one that I want to remove, and then I select the shape that I want to remove from. And then I use this difference boolean tool, and that part is gone. So yeah, that doesn't look the greatest, does it? I mean, there might be the joint here for the ankle that justifies that, but I don't like that. I think that's gonna be ugly to look at in robot mode, especially if that's the heel, let's say. So how do we resolve this? Hmm? Well, one will be to have the foot sit lower. So if we go down here, now this still needs mm, no, because this still needs to be, it still needs the space. Hmm. So maybe we can't really resolve it the way I thought we would. Because it needs the space to go into when it transforms back in tank mode. So how come we have something there? Foot needs to be shorter. But if the foot is shorter, yeah, maybe the foot can be shorter. Let's see. Let's just shrink it a bit that way. Then only the tip is needed. Right? Let's put it there. So if I copy it again, let's tilt it again so I don't have to sit there and calculate too many things. Move this forward. Okay. Make this a bit bigger. And then difference. So yeah. So now that is just the tip that is gonna become the foot. So maybe, well, this bit needs to become something like, not that much maybe. So that is probably gonna be something like that. Probably more. Can we do more? Yeah. So if that is the back, that folds out and becomes the toes. And there's gonna need some space to have, say, the kibble for transformation and ankle. So from that point of view, we can start thinking about it in a minute. So here we have now lower leg. The upper leg is pretty much square. So let's leave it there for now. And then we have these two panels here. Let's see. Oop. Rotating on the Z. They're definitely too big. So effectively only part of the leg needs to be covered. But also, as you can see, is the shape of the tank there that I need to take care of. So yeah, I think it wasn't that accentuated with with the uh, oh, with the legs. So maybe we can stop here because then this one needs to have a similar bend. Hmm, do we want to do the way? Why not? It's gonna close in and have a nice shape to the leg, I guess. Hide away a little bit that ankle opening on that side. While on this side we're gonna have the tank track cover to cover it up. So we'll worry about that later. So now that we got that, rotate the Z, 90, that goes there. Need to object mirror X just to keep an eye on what we're creating, and the leg as well is symmetrical at the moment, so I can just copy it across. Yeah. So as you can see, our legs are taking shape. I've not created any connection yet. It is still very rough. But before we start committing to, designs and tolerances and things like that, I like to have a better idea of what I'm doing. Now for the upper thighs, I like to think that these shapes are really pretty good. So I'm gonna copy that from my old design, bring it up a tad bigger. You see, it kinda matches. But the problem I have is that not only I need that movement, uh, I need that movement locked in place, and then this thing needs to come up 90 degrees as well. So there is going to be a bend here. And it's not just a bend, I think. I think it needs to... yeah, I like to think that this needs to bend 90 degrees and be on top of the tank tread. Because if this guy sits here, maybe that's not a big opening enough though. So, we'll resolve that in a minute. So let's start thinking that these legs are gonna be a bit further apart. And the other thing is I want this crotch bit to be about the same size as these guys when they fold up. And we'll resolve that in a minute as well. So another thing is while I'm designing this guy, there is all of this stuff that is gonna be in my way. So I'm gonna hide it for a wee while. And then this one can go up a bit. These ones can come here so that I have easier reference when I need. But yeah, I want pretty much the thigh crotch area to become this part where the cannons will attach. Yeah, they're just flipping up like 270 degrees, so maybe that's not a bad idea to have. But I can only do that when there is a way. Like I would have to put a hinge here, and then pretty much that edge comes and touches the thigh there. which means if this comes all the way here, no, flip that way, okay. If that is sitting there with the cannons on top, there is not, oh, there is enough space for the guys to sit. So there is, so there is. So maybe it's not a bad idea. Okay, so let's proceed with that idea for now. And is this distance enough now? Yeah. Yeah. So probably need to make this bigger. Yeah, you can see. Maybe it's a bit too much. Yeah. Cool. Back in there. I think they were flipped the wrong way around, but it doesn't matter. Back in there. Mm, I'm probably gonna go a bit more forward. Maybe even like that. Hmm? They shouldn't hinder too much movement, man. We'll see. We'll see. This is gonna be a weird looking robot, I think. So, we got the ankle to design, we got the knee joint to design, we got this weird 90 degrees that the hip is gonna do, like a reverse joint. It's gonna have 360 on the. Maybe not. Maybe it's not gonna have any movement there because it's gonna attach to the upper body. But yeah, the thing is, we're gonna have. Yeah, we're gonna have the cannons attached to the thingy here by having 5 mil uh, ports, which is just a cylinder really. It's just a cylinder that is 5 millimeter in size. So another trick for Blender is it says 2 meters. It's actually 2 millimeters, so I can make it 555, and now I have a 5 millimeter peg. So we can put that, I don't know, somewhere like here, and then somewhere like there as a reference, and then we can use it to make our cannons. The cannons look a bit small though. Let's make them bigger. So they're gonna have let's do it 90 so I can see. Yeah, to center it properly. There you go. So now that we centered that, so obviously the pegs are going to be 5 millimeters, so you need some clearance. And given that the printer, or at least my printer, is usually going to print with a certain precision, I like to think that 5.2 is the right amount to leave a good clearance for things to not need too much um, correction, let's say, after they've been printed. And I'm gonna put this as close as possible, but leave a little bit out. And then, like we've done before, I'm gonna select that first, then I'm gonna select this, edit difference, and now we got a 5mm peggle. And now we can worry about designing the actual cannon and, do everything that we want with it. But yeah, we got one, and now we got two cannons that can peg into our ties. So I think I'm gonna stop recording here, and we'll continue next time with starting creating the actual joints um, for this, and then we will have to see if we need to split this in two parts and maybe start creating some of the more detailed parts that then will form the tank. But otherwise, I think that this is going to be pretty much the shape of the tank in the Headmaster mode as well, because as you can see, it doesn't do much more. We just need to see how the front connects to the back, I guess. Well, we can figure it out, as always. And for now, that's it. I'm gonna try and keep it short. So last time it was 50 minutes, and I think that's a bit too long to watch anything. Right, catch you later.